So we had quite a lot of changes with the new Season 3 update when it comes to weapon adjustments, and in this video we're going to be ranking every single weapon from best to worst. If you do enjoy content like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel as we try to reach our goal of 50k subscribers. Click that link in the description down below and subscribe to our second channel. But I don't want to waste too much time here. We're not going to spend too much time discussing each weapon. We're just going to put them in the categories they're supposed to go in. So we've got meta, top tier upper, top tier lower, usable and trash. Very self-explanatory where all these weapons should be going, and we're going to try and do it in order of weapon categories. So we're going to do assault rifles first, then SMGs, so on and so forth. Okay, so let's get on into ARs. So when it comes to ARs here, we've got the Cold War AK, definitely meta, don't really need to explain that too much. If you want to see full breakdowns of what I think about these weapons, I'll leave a link to some of our other videos at the end of this one. We've got the Modern Warfare AK, which I do think is top tier lower in my opinion. It's a solid gun still, not amazing though. AMAX I do think is meta now, so if you do want to check out the stats for this weapon, once again you can check it out in our AR video. AN94 is top tier lower, it's very easy to use, still a solid gun. ASVAL is top tier lower, good for solos, but that's pretty much it. Modern Warfare AUG is usable because it is a burst fire weapon, it's not all that ideal. FAL is also usable. Again, it's not going to be one of the better long range rifles to use, especially as an AR. Fara I think is meta still. FFAR1 I think is top tier upper, especially as a sniper support weapon, definitely solid. FR556 is trash. Grau is top tier upper. Groza in my opinion is top tier lower, not quite as good as the FFAR. Kilo is top tier lower, it's easy to use but the long range TTK on it's just not great. Same goes for the Krig as well, it's super easy to use but there are other better weapons. The M13 top tier upper in my opinion, definitely just as good as the Grau. Carve is usable because it's burst fire once again. Grav I do think could be kind of between top tier upper and top tier lower. I do think it's top tier lower just because it's a little bit harder to use, but as a sniper support weapon is actually pretty solid in my opinion. EM2 is top tier upper if you can control the recoil. There are better weapons still in my opinion that are going to be way easier to use. Volk is meta when it comes to sniper support. I think it's probably the best sniper support weapon in the game. C58 is probably the best rifle in the entire game right now in my opinion, so definitely a meta weapon right there. AS44 top tier upper because the TTK is insane. As sniper support it can be really good as well. The Vargo again meta in my opinion, super low recoil, just very good AR overall. M13 or M16, sorry this is the M16, usable because it's burst fire once again. The new Nikita assault rifle's top tier lower, it just doesn't hit quite as hard as we needed it to. It's got kind of low-ish recoil, but the recoil pattern's a bit weird on the weapon. KGM40 is actually pretty solid, top tier upper, super low recoil, still a solid option in my opinion. M4A1 top tier upper as well. It's probably not the best long range AR in the game, obviously there are better options but you can still use it and do very well. Odin top tier lower, it hits pretty hard but let's be honest, fast fire rates are what we're looking for when it comes to ARs here. Then we've got the NZ41, again top tier lower or maybe just usable depending on how you look at it. Again we do need a faster fire rate for our ARs. STG is top tier upper, it could be meta to be honest, it's a pretty solid gun. I'm going to put it in meta because overall low recoil, hits reasonably hard and overall just a solid gun. Itra Burst is usable again with these burst weapons, it's just kind of in the middle of the pack, it's not great to be honest. Cooper Carbine is definitely up there with the meta weapons, especially the sniper support. Bar top tier lower, again slow fire rate. Automaton top tier upper in my opinion, definitely solid. QBZ definitely top tier upper as well. If you can control the recoil of this gun, it actually kills relatively quickly. Ram 7 again top tier upper as well, solid assault rifle, just there are slightly better options that are easier to control as well. Scar in my opinion is top tier lower, slow fire rate, small mags, we do need a kind of buff to this weapon in my opinion. XM4 is still meta overall when it comes to assault rifles. Moving on to SMGs now, we've got the P90, which I do think is top tier lower, easy to use, low recoil, big mag. Overall it's okay, but the TTKs are not great. Bison after the update is top tier upper in my opinion. I do think it's pretty good for hip fire, it's got a huge mag, and overall just a solid gun in my opinion. Now when it comes to Cold War MP5, I do think that's top tier upper as well. I don't think it's meta, but I definitely think it's a solid SMG if you want to try it out. ISO definitely top tier lower as well. MP7 is top tier upper in my opinion, can be used pretty well, but it's still not one of the best SMGs in the game. Striker, it is kind of usable, I don't think it's great to be honest, I wouldn't really pick it over any of these other SMGs. Then we've got the Fennec. The Fennec is top tier lower. If I had a bigger mag, it'd probably be way higher up on the list because of its TTK potential. but the mags are a bit too small, especially on Caldera. MP5 from Modern Warfare is meta still. It's still a solid SMG to use, probably the best Modern Warfare SMG in the game at the moment. The Uzi with the 80 rounds, in my opinion, is pretty much top tier lower. I don't think it's great, but definitely solid overall. Type 100, if you can build it correctly for TTK, it's top tier upper. Bit harder to control than some of the other weapons though. Modern Warfare AUG definitely kills relatively quickly, but in my opinion just moves a bit too slow, but I do still think it's a meta SMG. Then we've got the Burstfire SMG. I can't remember what this is called, the KSP or something. I do think it's kind of just trash-ish usable. It is usable, to be fair, but I wouldn't really pick it over a full auto SMG. Milano, in my opinion, is meta right now, especially as a sniper support. Super low recoil, very good option right now. MP40 is still meta with the correct build. OTS is meta, especially after a recent update. We went over the stats for this gun and TTKs. CX9 is top tier upper, in my opinion. It's definitely just as good as probably the MP7. Sten is actually meta, in my opinion. It's a solid gun, but I just do think these other options are slightly better. And then we've got the Tech 9. I do think the Tech 9 is okay. Top tier upper is not too bad for this gun. The mags are just not great enough, but you do waste an attachment slot trying to make this fully automatic, which is the main issue. Then we've got the nail gun. The nail gun is usable, but the mags are just not big enough. Then we've got the LC10. The LC10 is top tier lower. It's got low recoil, similar to the other ones here, but it's just not going to be the best. Then we've got the Owen gun, which is pretty much the meta SMG at the moment. Owen gun still top tier. Then we've got the Vanguard PPSH, which I do still think the hipfire build is very solid on this if you do want to use it for that. The Armaguerra is actually okay as well. It's top tier upper as a sniper support. It's okay overall. Lapa, meta for sure, especially with the TTKs if you do use that rifled barrel. Wellgun is meta as well. Overall, very good SMG to use if you use a 64 round drum mags. Cold War PPSH is meta as a sniper support, not as an SMG, but sniper support solid. Mac 10 is sniper support, I do think is meta as well. Iron sights are a little bit cleaner than the PPSH. Then we've got the Tommy gun. I do think the Tommy gun is kind of top tier lower. It isn't great at the moment. The Bullfrog, in my opinion, is top tier upper. Definitely can be used still. Low recoil, solid gun. AK-74U, again, is in top tier upper as well. Now we're moving on to LMGs, and this is probably categories that people don't really care too much about, but we're going to go over this anyway because some people do enjoy using LMGs in this game. So first of all, we've got the SA87, which I do think is top tier upper. It still kills relatively quick. The recoil is a little bit too high on this weapon. That's the only reason why it can't be meta. Finn LMG, in my opinion, is top tier lower. I don't think it's a great LMG compared to some of the other options that we do have. PKM's meta for sure. Holger is just usable. I don't think it's great. The TTKs are very slow. The Bren now has super low recoil, so it's still usable, but it doesn't kill quite as fast. It's actually got just as quick TTK as the Holger. The only difference is you get a bigger mag, and overall it's just a little bit easier to use. The DP27, in my opinion, is top tier upper. Definitely a solid LMG to use. The M60 LMG is just terrible. The movement's just way too slow in this gun. Grau LMG, in my opinion, is top tier lower. Definitely a solid LMG when it comes to TTK, but overall movement stats are not great on this gun. MG34 is kind of usable and trash at the same time. It's got a fast TTK, but the issue with it is that the recoil is just absolutely insane. You cannot manage it with any attachments. Type 11 is actually top tier upper. It's super low recoil, probably the best Bren replacement at the moment. So definitely a solid LMG if you want to try out something low recoil. Then we've got the Whitley LMG, in my opinion, still top tier lower. It ain't great. Even after its buff, it's still not a good LMG to use. The MG84 is top tier upper as well. If you build it correctly, you get a pretty low recoil gun. It just doesn't kill super quick or anything like that. The MG34, I don't even know what this one's called now. This is the Cold War one. Again, it's top tier upper. Definitely got one of the best movement stats for an LMG. The M91, in my opinion, is meta. I've been saying this for a long time. I do think the M91 is one of the best LMGs in the game. It's got the best TTK out of all the LMGs overall, especially for long range anyway. Then we've got the Bruin. The Bruin's definitely meta as well when it comes to LMG, so I do think it's a solid LMG to use at the moment. Then we've got the Stoner, which is, in my opinion, kind of like between top tier lower and top tier upper. It's still relatively hard to control, so I do think it's in top tier upper, and the RPD is a little bit higher than the Stoner in my opinion, but it's still top tier upper. So next up, we're moving into shotguns, and we're going to get through these very quickly because A, I don't like shotguns, B, I don't like anyone else using shotguns, and C, I don't like shotguns. So let's get on into these shotguns really quickly. So R90 shotgun, in my opinion, is top tier upper. Still an easy shotgun to use, pretty good for just kind of overall because you can spam it pretty well. 720 shotgun is trash, or 725, whatever it's called. Gallo shotgun's meta. Street Sweeper shotgun's meta. Jack 12 is definitely meta. Then we've got this shotgun. I'm not too sure what this is, but I'd say it's usable. The Origin shotgun is definitely top tier upper as well. It's very spammable. Gracie Auto's top tier upper as well, very spammable. VLK Rogue, top tier upper, very spammable. Revolving shotgun's kind of top tier lower. Howard shotgun's top tier lower. Double barrel shotgun is kind of trash unless you use it akimbo, but even then it got nerfed. Ironhide is trash. Model shotgun is trash. And that is pretty much it when it comes to the shotguns. Moving on to the infamous sniper rifle category, this is where we've seen most of the changes take place. And we're going to get straight into this because this is going to be a big deal for most people. So when it comes to the M82, it's going to be trash now. It could have been a really good option if they kept the one-shot headshot potential on this, because it fires relatively slow, it's semi-automatic, and at a slow ADS, and is a 50 cal rifle, so I don't know why they nerfed it. It didn't really make any sense to not have a one-shot headshot in this gun, but it doesn't one-shot headshot now, so it's kind of just trash. Pellington's probably the best aggressive sniper option. It's got the largest possible range. The only issue is that the flinch is not as good as the car or the Swiss, so that's something you need to keep in mind. The Swiss, in my opinion, is top tier lower. It doesn't have the fastest ADS, and it needs to have a really quick ADS now to basically get 2 shots off, which I don't think it does have. ZRG is the meta sniper. You can build it aggressive, you can build it long range, you can build it whatever way you want. It's still going to be the best sniper at one-shot headshots as well. Then we've got the Vanguard car. If you build it for absolute speed, you can actually get a pretty good sniper rifle out of this. So you can still land 2 shots if you're trying to compete against an assault rifle. So because it's got a really fast ADS, then it's still worth using. AX50's got a one-shot headshot potential, so it's top tier upper. Modern Warfare car, again, top tier upper. It's got that kind of really quick ADS, so if you build it pretty much for ADS now, you will get a really fast ADS so that you can actually get those 2 shots off, once again similar to the Vanguard car. Then we've got the 3-line rifle, which doesn't one-shot headshot, so I mean it's just kind of usable. SPR, in my opinion, is going to be kind of top tier lower as well. I wouldn't really recommend it anymore. Then we've got the Type 99, which does one-shot headshot, so again, that's going to be top tier upper. I mean, it's kind of just a given that any one-shot headshot sniper is going to be at least top tier upper. Tundra, in my opinion, is just usable now. I mean, it's not got better movement than the Swiss or the Kar 98s, and it still doesn't one-shot headshot, so I wouldn't really recommend it, and the flinch is nowhere near as good. Anti-tank rifles just kind of dog shit, to be honest. Dragunov, again, dog shit as well. Rytek, similar case. They all don't one-shot headshot as well, so again, very pointless weapons. HDR, top tier upper. The ADS is just a bit too slow compared to the ZRG, so that's why it can't be meta. But moving on to the pistols now, we've got the Magnum from Cold War, which is kind of just trash in my opinion. Renetti's no point. X16 or X whatever it's called is usable. The snake shot pistols are actually top tier lower, not the best. Cyclops are top tier upper, move just a little bit too slow, but they are fairly also easily used. The Deagles are trash. The 1911s are kind of trash. Other 1911s trash. Other 1911s trash. So that's like 3 1911s that are just absolutely trash. Daimati, in my opinion, is still going to be a meta pistol. I mean, it's not a meta weapon, but meta pistol. Then we've got the M19s, which I do think are still top tier lower. Marshall shotgun's kind of trash. The machine pistols, top tier upper, is not as good as some of the other options. Top breaks, if you build them akimbo, are actually still pretty solid. They actually did get a bit of a buff with the recent update. Rat is actually okay as well. I do think it's top tier upper. Clouser is actually meta. The amount of damage this gun does with a really solid fire rate is actually pretty good. So I would recommend it 100%. And then the Cyclops are probably the best meta pistol in the game right now. Next up, we have the Marksman rifle category. Now, as a whole, this could have actually had a huge buff if they actually used AR ammo, and that is because a lot of the snipers now 2-shot headshot, especially the Vanguard ones. I do know that the DMR as well as the Type 99, I think it is, from Cold War do use assault rifle ammo, so in that case they're actually pretty solid options. But when it comes to the Vanguard and Modern Warfare ones, they use sniper ammo, which is kind of pointless in my opinion, so I don't know why they did that. But when it comes to the crossbows here, I do think these are kind of top tier lore in my opinion. If you think about it this way, they're some of the only few weapons that can actually one-shot headshot in the game now. The carbine is still trash. The EBR, in my opinion, is still trash. The SKS is usable. The Type 99 is usable. The DMR is top tier lore. Then we've got the G43, which could be fully automatic, which is actually really good to see, but it does have the sniper rifle ammo, so again, it's only just going to be usable in my opinion. The same with the other marksman rifle. The M1 Garand is actually one of the better options, which is top tier lore in my opinion. So you can still use this pretty well, but you're going to run out of ammo very quickly. And the new one does have a fully automatic barrel as well. So again, it could be a solid option, but again, it does use the sniper ammo, so it's just pretty much usable at this point. So that is pretty much how I would rank all the marksman rifles. So there we have it. I've ranked every single weapon inside Warzone after the Season 3 update. If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel as we try to reach our goal of 50k subscribers, and click that link in the description down below and subscribe to our second channel. And thank you very much for watching.